throwaway account because my phone has been blowing up for 48 hours straight, and I'm pretty sure half my town wants to kill me, while the other half wants to buy me a beer. If you saw the viral video of the black smoke cloud in a suburban backyard in Ohio, yeah, that was me. I need to get this off my chest. To understand why I did what I did, you have to understand my wife, Sarah, 28, and the absolute hell my life has been for the last 6 months. We've been married for 3 years. On paper, we were the it couple. I work in tech sales, she's an aspiring lifestyle influencer, which basically means she spends my money on beige furniture and takes photos of latte art. For the first year, things were okay. But lately, Sarah has been impossible. Not just moody and possible. I mean vindictive, cold, and downright bitchy. It started when she decided she wanted to get in shape before the baby came. We weren't even pregnant yet. She signed up for this high-end boutique gym and got a personal trainer named Tyler. Tyler. Just the name makes my blood boil now. Suddenly, everything I did was wrong. I'd come home after a 10-hour shift and she'd scream at me because I bought the wrong brand of almond milk. Tyler says this brand is full of fillers, Mark. Do you want me to be fat? Do you not care about my body? She would constantly compare me to him. Tyler thinks my form is perfect. Tyler says I have incredible potential. Tyler actually listens to me when I talk about my day. Meanwhile, our sex life? Dead. Completely dead. I tried to initiate sex constantly, trying to be romantic, planning dates, but she would literally push me off her. She'd say I was too sweaty or clinging or she had a headache, the usual excuses, but delivered with this sneer of disgust that gutted me every time. Then, about 4 months ago, one night she came home from a late training session. She was buzzing with energy, completely different from the ice queen I've been living with. She actually smiled at me. She initiated sex for the first time in almost a year. It was aggressive, detached, and honestly felt weirdly performative, but I was so starved for affection I didn't question it.
3 weeks later, she drops the bomb. She's pregnant. I was ecstatic. I thought, okay, this is it. The hormones were making her crazy, but now we're starting a family. Things will go back to normal. I was an idiot. As soon as that stick turned pink, Sarah went into full mommy blogger mode. She didn't care about the baby. She cared about the content. And the biggest event on her calendar, the gender reveal. It has to be perfect, Mark, she told me last month, scrolling through Pinterest. I want a drone, I want a catering tent, and I want the cannon, the biggest smoke cannon they sell. She was already treating me like a hired assistant for this party. Make sure the grass is cut diagonally. Don't invite your cousin, he looks trashy in photos. And you need to lose weight, you look puffy next to me. Last week, she was showing me photos of what she wanted the setup to look like on her iPad. She got a notification at the top of the screen, an iMessage. It just said, "Be careful, his hips are tighter than yours, LOL. My stomach dropped. She snatched the iPad away instantly. Just a spam text, she snapped, her eyes wide, shifting nervously. Why are you snooping? You're so insecure, it's pathetic. She gaslit me so hard in that moment, I almost apologized. But that night, while she was asleep, the feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. I knew her passcode, it was her birthday, obviously. And for the first time in our marriage, I took her phone off the nightstand and walked into the bathroom. That's when my world ended. I sat on the edge of the bathtub, the cold porcelain seeping through my boxers, and typed in her birthday, 110895, unlocked. My heart was hammering against my ribs so hard I thought it would wake her up in the other room. I went straight to iMessage. There it was. Tyler ass. I scrolled back. It wasn't just flirting. It was a full-blown relationship that had been going on for 6 months. The timestamps matched up perfectly with every late session, every girl's night out, and every time she was too tired for me. Reading it was like drinking broken glass. Sarah. Ugh, he's trying to touch me again. He's so needy. It's pathetic. Tyler. Just tolerate it for now, babe. Focus on the goal. I miss your hands. Mark's touch makes my skin crawl. He's so soft compared to you. I felt like I was gonna throw up. I had to put the phone down on the bath mat and breathe for a second. The woman I bought a house with, the woman I rubbed foot cream on every night, was talking about me like I was a disgusting insect. But the worst was yet to come. I scrolled to the dates around the time she got pregnant. Sarah, Ty, I'm late. Tyler, late? Like pregnant? Sarah, yeah. And we both know it can't be Mark's. We haven't had sex in months. Shit, you have to fix this. I handled it. I slept with him last night. I had to get drunk to do it, but I did it. Now if I am pregnant, I can pin it on him. You're a genius. The ATM pays for everything and we stay together. The ATM, that's what I was to them. Just a wallet with a pulse. Then I switched apps. I checked her email looking for anything else. I saw a confirmation email from a lab I didn't recognize. Subject, confidential, NIP test results ready. I didn't even know you could do a paternity test while pregnant, but apparently you can. She had done a non-invasive prenatal paternity test. She must have swiped my hairbrush or toothbrush to get my DNA sample to send in with her blood work. I opened the PDF attachment. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. Excluded as biological father. I stared at that number until it burned into my retinas. 0. Not a chance. Not a maybe. 0. The baby she was making me build a nursery for, the baby she was making me buy a $1,200 stroller for, was Tyler's. I didn't cry. I think I went into shock. I felt this cold, hard clarity wash over me. The sadness didn't hit me then. It was just pure, unadulterated rage. I forwarded every screenshot, every photo, and that damn PDF to my secure work email. Then I deleted the evidence of the transfer from her phone. I walked back into the bedroom. Sarah was sleeping like an angel, sprawled out in the middle of the king-sized bed I paid for. I looked at her, and for a split second, I wanted to wake her up and scream in her face. I wanted to throw the phone at the wall. But then I remembered the party, the Instagram event of the year, the one she had invited 60 people to, her family, my family, her entire influencer circle. She wanted a show. I was going to give her a show. I plugged her phone back in, crawled into bed next to the woman who was destroying my life, and stared at the ceiling until the sun came up. The next 5 days were the longest of my life. I deserve an Academy Award. I deserve a standing ovation. I had to wake up every morning and make coffee for the woman who was planning to cuckold me for the next 18 years. I had to kiss her goodbye. I had to listen to her talk about our little bean. Every time she touched her stomach, I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I channeled all that rage into planning. Sarah, being the control freak she is, had ordered the smoke cannon herself. She already knew the gender. It was a girl, ironically. Tyler produces girls, apparently. She had the pink cannon hidden in a box in the garage, marked Decor, Do Not Touch. She didn't trust anyone else to handle it. I need to make sure the smoke is thick enough for the 4K video mark. I can't risk your mom buying some cheap Dollar Tree crop. Perfect. On Wednesday, I took a half day off work. I went to a theatrical supply store 2 towns over. I bought a generic, refillable confetti powder cannon. Then I went to a hardware store and bought 2 bottles of black chalk powder, the kind used for construction snap lines, and a bag of fine charcoal dust. I mixed them together in a bucket in the trunk of my car. It was the darkest, nastiest, most ominous black dust you've ever seen. It looked like death. I went home while Sarah was at her prenatal yoga class, probably doing downward dog with Tyler. I carefully opened her box in the garage, took out the pink cannon, and swapped it with my block doom tube. I even peeled the label off hers and stuck it on mine so it looked authentic. Then came the party favors. I stayed late at the office on Thursday. I printed 60 copies of the paternity test. I didn't just staple them. Oh no. I went to a craft store and bought nice cream-colored envelopes and gold wax seals. I sat in the conference room at work, stuffing these envelopes one by one. To Sarah's mom and dad. To my mom and dad. To Jessica, Sarah's annoying best friend who always hated me. To Tyler. Yes, she invited him. He's my trainer, Mark. He's part of the journey. I put a nice little label on the front of the basket. A little surprise to take home.
Friday night, the night before the party, was the hardest test. Sarah was in full panic mode about the weather. It says 10% chance of rain, Mark. If it rains, the drone shots are ruined. She was pacing the kitchen, eating a bowl of ice cream. She stopped and looked at me, her eyes narrowing. "You've been quiet lately," she said, spoon hovering near her mouth. "You better not be sulking about the budget again. This is for our daughter. Don't be selfish." I looked her dead in the eye, summoned every ounce of willpower I possessed, and smiled. "I'm not sulking, babe," I said. "I'm just excited. I think tomorrow is going to be a day absolutely no one will ever forget." She smirked. "Good. Make sure you wear the beige polo I bought you, and shave. I don't want you looking scruffy in the family photos." "Don't worry," I replied, grabbing a water from the fridge. "I'll look sharp, especially for the group photo." If she only knew. Saturday morning was a blur of beige balloons and fake smiles. By noon, our backyard looked like it had puked a Crate and Barrel catalog. There was a baby bar with mocktails, a flower wall that cost more than my first car, and a DJ setting up in the corner. Sarah was vibrating with anxiety. She snapped her fingers at me across the lawn while I was talking to my dad. "Mark, the charcuterie board needs refilling. Stop gossiping and be a host." My dad looked at me confused. "She's a little high-strung today, huh, son?" "You have no idea, Dad," I said, patting his shoulder. "Just wait. It's going to be a blast." Then he walked in. He strolled into my backyard wearing a muscle tee that was 2 sizes too small, carrying a protein shaker because apparently he can't go 2 hours without drinking sludge. Sarah's face lit up instantly. She practically ran over to him, then caught herself and slowed down to a casual walk. I watched them from the deck. She touched his arm. He leaned in close, whispering something that made her giggle, a giggle I hadn't heard in 3 years. I walked right up to them. "Tyler, glad you could make it," I said, extending my hand. I squeezed it hard, too hard. He winced slightly, but gave me that condescending alpha bro grin. "Hey, Mark, wouldn't miss it. Big day for you guys." "Huge," I said, staring him dead in the eyes. "You've been such a big part of this process. Sarah tells me you were instrumental in getting her body ready." Sarah stiffened. "Okay, Mark, go check the drone battery. Tyler, come meet my mom." She ushered him away like I was the help. Around 2 p.m., the crowd gathered. We had about 60 people squeezed onto the patio. The drone was buzzing overhead like a giant mosquito. Everyone had their phones out, live streaming to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I grabbed the basket of party favors from under the table. I walked over to Sarah's mom, Linda. Linda has always been nice to me, and I actually felt a pang of guilt for what I was about to do to her platform. "Linda, can you hold this?" I asked, handing her the basket of envelopes. "Oh, heavy," she laughed. "What are these?" "Special thank you notes," I lied, loud enough for the camera to hear. "But don't pass them out until the smoke clears. I want it to be a surprise." "Oh, Mark, you're so thoughtful," she beamed. I walked to the center of the yard where Sarah was waiting. She was posing, hand on her barely there bump, chin tilted up for the perfect angle. She handed me the cannon. It felt heavy in my hands. Heavy with justice. "Okay, everyone," Sarah shrieked into the microphone. "Thank you all for coming to celebrate our little miracle. Mark and I are so blessed." She looked at me with that fake influencer smile. All teeth, no eyes. "Ready, Daddy?" I gripped the cannon. My palms were sweating. I looked at my parents, smiling proudly. I looked at Tyler, leaning against the fence, looking bored. I looked at Sarah, the woman who lied to my face every single day. "I was born ready," I said. The DJ cut the music. The crowd started the chant. 5. Sarah gripped my arm, her nails digging in. 4. I aimed the cannon straight up at the clear blue sky. 3. I saw Tyler check his watch. 2. I took a deep breath. 1. Pop! The sound was louder than I expected, like a gunshot. Instantly, the world went dark. I didn't just buy a little smoke bomb. I had packed that cannon with industrial-grade construction chalk and crushed charcoal. A massive, thick, choking cloud of pure black soot exploded outward, engulfing Sarah completely.
She had been standing there with her mouth open, ready to scream, "It's a girl!" Instead, she inhaled a mouthful of black dust. The cheering stopped instantly. You could hear a pin drop in that backyard, followed immediately by the sound of Sarah hacking and coughing. As the cloud drifted slightly, the guests gasped. It wasn't a cute gender reveal mist. It looked like an oil rig explosion. Sarah was covered. Her white dress? Ruined. Her face? Black. Her teeth? Black. She looked like a coal miner who had just finished a double shift. "Mark," she sputtered, wiping black sludge from her eyes. "What the cough? What is this? It's supposed to be pink."
I didn't offer her a napkin. I stepped out of the cloud, relatively clean because I'd aimed it away from myself, and grabbed the microphone from the stand. The drone was still buzzing overhead, capturing every glorious second of this disaster. "Ladies and gentlemen," I boomed over the speakers. My adrenaline was peaking. I felt like a god. "I know you're confused. You're expecting pink or blue." Sarah froze. She stared at me, her eyes white circles in her soot-covered face. She knew. In that split second, she knew. "Mark, don't," she hissed, lunging for the mic, but she tripped over her dress. I sidestepped her. "But you see, biology is tricky. Sometimes it's a boy, sometimes it's a girl, and sometimes—" I pointed straight at the fence where Tyler was standing, mouth agape, holding his protein shaker. "Sometimes it's a Tyler."
A ripple of confusion went through the crowd. "A what?" someone whispered. "That's right," I continued, my voice shaking with manic energy. "This baby isn't mine. It belongs to the man in the tight shirt over there who's been training my wife for the last 6 months." "Mark, stop it!" Sarah shrieked. She sounded like a banshee. "He's lying! He's crazy!" "Am I?" I looked over at her mother. "Linda, go ahead and open those party favors I gave you. Everyone grab an envelope." Linda, bless her confused heart, looked down at the basket. She handed one to Sarah's dad and opened hers. I watched her face. She pulled out the paper. She adjusted her glasses. She read the bold text, 0.00% probability. "Oh my God," Linda whispered. Then she looked up, her face draining of color. She looked at Sarah, then at Tyler. Then she promptly rolled her eyes back and fainted dead away onto the grass. Pandemonium doesn't even begin to describe it. It was like a bomb went off in a Sephora. While Sarah's dad was fanning Linda with a paper plate, Sarah's best friend Jessica ripped open her envelope. I saw her jaw drop. She looked at Sarah, then at me, then back at Sarah. "Sarah?" Jessica yelled over the commotion. "Is this real? Did you seriously hook up with him?" She pointed at Tyler. Tyler, the big, tough personal trainer, looked like a deer in headlights. The smug grin was gone. He saw Sarah's dad, a retired Marine, who is currently turning a shade of purple I've never seen in nature, clench his fists. I gotta go," Tyler stammered. He didn't even use the gate. He literally vaulted over my neighbor's fence like a coward, leaving his protein shaker behind on the lawn. "Tyler, come back!" Sarah screamed, her voice cracking. She spun around to face me, and she looked terrifying. The black soot had mixed with her sweat and tears, creating these dark, muddy streaks running down her face. She looked like a demon from a horror movie. She charged at me. "You ruined my life," she screeched, clawing at my chest. "You ruined the stream. You ruined the brand. How could you do this to me, you petty, jealous little prick?" I caught her wrists. I didn't squeeze. I just held her away from me. "I didn't ruin anything, Sarah," I said, my voice surprisingly calm amidst the screaming gusts. "You did this. You did this every time you got into bed with him. I just turned the lights on." I shoved her back lightly. She stumbled, slipping on the black powder coating the patio, and fell right onto her butt. A puff of black dust went up around her. "My dress," she wailed. "This is custom." I turned to my parents. My mom was crying silently, holding my dad's arm. My dad looked at me with a mix of sorrow and fierce pride. "I'll call you later, Dad," I said. "I'm leaving." "Go, son," he nodded. "We'll handle this." I walked through the house, grabbing the duffel bag I had packed and stashed by the front door that morning. I walked out to my truck, my heart pounding in my ears. I felt light, weightless. I started the engine. As I backed out, I saw the front door fly open. Sarah came running out. She was a mess. Black soot, ruined hair, barefoot on the asphalt. She chased the truck down the driveway, screaming something I couldn't hear over the engine. She looked like a lunatic. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. I put it in drive and sped off down the street, leaving a cloud of exhaust to mix with the black dust settling over my former life. I drove for 2 hours straight. I didn't have a destination. I just needed distance. I ended up at a Motel 6 off the interstate. Classy, right? I checked in, threw my bag on the bed, and that's when the adrenaline crash hit me. It was physical. My hand started shaking so bad I couldn't unlace my boots. I sat on that scratchy polyester bedspread and stared at the wall for an hour. The high of the revenge was gone. In its place was this crushing, suffocating silence. I turned my phone back on. It vibrated for 5 solid minutes. 47 missed calls from Sarah. I had already changed her contact name from Wifey. 12 missed calls from her dad. 50+ texts from various numbers. But the worst part? The internet works fast. My cousin, the one Sarah told me not to invite because he was trashy, sent me a link to a TikTok. It had 3.5 million views in 4 hours. Caption: worst gender reveal ever. Husband exposes cheating wife with coal. I watched it. It was brutal. You could see the black cloud engulf her. You could hear my voice clearly over the speakers. Sometimes it's a Tyler. You could see her slipping in the soot. The comments were ruthless. She looks like a chimney sweep, LMAO. The way the mom fainted sent me. King shit. She belongs to the streets. I should have felt vindicated, and a part of me did, but mostly I just felt sick. I watched the video of my marriage ending over and over again until my battery died. I finally listened to one of Sarah's voicemails. It was from 20 minutes ago.
Mark, you need to come home. This is insane. People are driving by the house taking pictures of the black grass. My parents are furious. Tyler isn't answering me. Look, I know you're mad, but we have a baby to think about. You signed the birth plan. You can't just abandon a pregnant woman. That's illegal. Come home and we can talk about the custody arrangement or whatever, but you need to clean the driveway. The delusion was staggering. She wasn't sorry she cheated. She was sorry she got caught, and she was mad that I wasn't there to pressure wash her mistakes away. She still thought she could manipulate me into being the ATM for Tyler's kid. That was the moment the sadness turned into cold resolve. I didn't cry for Sarah. I cried for the guy I was yesterday, the guy who was excited to be a dad, the guy who built a crib last weekend. That guy was dead. Sarah killed him. I ordered a pizza, didn't eat it, and spent the night looking up the best divorce attorneys in the state. I wasn't going to just leave her. I was going to scorch the earth. I texted her back one time at 3 a.m. Me. I'm not coming home. The house goes on the market Monday. Do not contact me again without a lawyer. Also, tell Tyler he owes me for the cannon.
It's been 2 months since Black Friday, as my buddies are calling it. I wish I could say everything wrapped up neatly, but life isn't a movie. It's a messy, expensive legal battle. I filed for divorce immediately. Sarah, true to form, didn't go quietly. She actually tried to sue me for intentional infliction of emotional distress and defamation of character. She claimed that by revealing the truth publicly, I damaged her potential earnings as an influencer. Her lawyer, some strip mall guy she probably found on a bus bench, actually tried to argue that the DNA test was obtained illegally because I went through her phone. My lawyer laughed them out of the room. In our state, infidelity affects alimony, and since I have 4K video evidence of her admitting the baby isn't mine, plus the text messages I saved where she conspired to trap me, she's getting nothing. No alimony, no house, no child support for me.
The fallout. She's back living with her parents. Her brand is dead. She tried to post a My Side of the Story video where she cried without tears and said I was abusive for embarrassing her. The internet destroyed her.
She had to delete her accounts because people kept commenting and justice for Mark on every photo of her latte art. He ghosted her completely. The second the real responsibility hit, a baby, no rich husband to pay the bills, he vanished. He actually transferred to a gym 3 towns over to avoid the drama. Sarah is now facing single motherhood with a baby daddy who wants nothing to do with her. The house. We sold it last week. The new owners asked about the massive black stain on the backyard patio. I told them it was from a grease fire. Technically true. The grease was my marriage. How I'm doing. I'm not going to lie, it sucks. I go to therapy twice a week. I have trust issues that will probably take a decade to fix. I wake up some nights reaching for her, only to realize the bed is empty, and then I remember why it's empty, and the rage comes back.
I miss the idea of her. I miss the family I thought we were going to have. But I don't miss her. I don't miss the gaslighting, the coldness, or the way she made me feel small so she could feel big. My advice to you: trust your gut. If you feel like something is wrong, it is. If she guards her phone like it's the nuclear launch codes, there's a reason. Get the DNA test. I don't care if she's Mother Teresa. If you are having a baby, get a prenatal test or a test at birth. If I hadn't snooped that night, I would be raising Tyler's kid right now. I would be waking up for 3 a.m. feedings for a child that wasn't mine, while she texted him behind my back. That thought terrifies me more than the divorce. Don't be the nice guy. I spent years trying to please her, thinking if I just did more chores, bought better gifts, or got in better shape, she'd love me again. She didn't. She just saw me as a resource to exploit. I'm 30. I'm debt-free, mostly. I'm in the best shape of my life. Spite is a great pre-workout. And for the first time in years, I'm free. Thanks for reading, Reddit. I'm going to go drink a beer that I bought with my own money and an apartment decorated with furniture I picked out, and watch a movie without anyone telling me I'm breathing too loud.